Hi guys! In this video we are creating a character in Blender 2.8. Now in this first video I'm going to show you how I model a character, and please keep in mind I'm no expert at all. I'm just having fun doing this and usually it turns out not too bad. But let's jump right in. Okay, so let's get started. I usually don't get rid of the standard cube. I know a lot of people do, but I like to use it for my head. So the first thing I do is I make sure that the cube is selected, which you can see by this orangey yellowy outline. And then I press Tab on my keyboard, which will allow me to go into edit mode, which you can also see up here. Now I press 1 on my keyboard, which will allow me to go into this frontal view. And this will be where our face is. So this will be the chin and this will be the forehead. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to press Ctrl and R, which allow me to add a loop cut here. And then I just click again so that it lets go of it and it will be perfectly centered. Now we want to turn on the X-ray tool up here. And now with B we can box select. It will select the front vertices, but also the ones that are right behind that, because we have the X-ray turned on. So now we press X to delete, and we're going to delete these vertices. Okay. So we're doing this because a body is relatively symmetrical and we want to do just half the work we have to do. So we apply something that is called a mirror modifier. So you navigate to this wrench symbol down here and then you press add modifier and you select the mirror. Now you see here there's a bunch of different settings and the axis is already perfect for us. And there's also this one, the clipping, that is very important. Because if the clipping's not turned on like it is right now, if I grab this vertex and I move it with G, it will tear open our mesh, which is not good. So if we have the clipping on, it will not let us do that. You see, however I move the mouse, it won't let it rip. Great. So this is the most basics that we have to do right now. So the next thing we need to do is we need to give ourselves some more vertices to work with so we can actually shape a round head out of this. So I press Ctrl R again and then I use my mouse wheel to increase or decrease the amount of edge loops I want to add. So in my case I want to do 3. And then you can also actually use your mouse to position them, but then if you right click you'll just let go of it in the middle. If you left click, you'll set it wherever you had planned to. Okay, so this is the front of our face. I also like to add a vertical one in here. So again, I do Ctrl R and then I place this vertical one. Great. Now if I press 3, I can jump into the side view. And you see our horizontal ones from earlier, the 3 we made, but we also want to add 3 vertical ones in here. Great. And then we look at the top view, that looks fine too. So now if we look at all our views, this looks perfect for me. Great. So I like to zoom in a little bit, which I just think makes it easier to work with. And the first thing I always do is I bring the forehead up a little bit. So I press B to box select again and then press G to move this up. Just a little bit. Now this needs to come in a bit. So I bring this in. You see how this rounds it out quite nicely. Actually, this might be a little bit too high. So let me bring that back down. Oh, wait, there was something extra selected. Yeah, you need to make sure that you don't select something you don't want to. That's better. Okay, then the chin should come down a tiny bit. And this should definitely come in. Well, this is a bit round for my taste right now, but we're gonna play around with this anyways. Maybe this should come in a tiny bit. Oh yeah, that's better. Oops. Okay. That's better. Maybe that should come down a bit more. Yeah. So this looks nice and round from the top, from the front. But if I press 7 now to see the top view, it's gonna be a cube. So we need to bring all this in, basically trying to round it out a bit and make it look nice. You can also always go in later again from different angles and fiddle with it until you're happy. So really, the world is your oyster here. Oops. This definitely needs to come in. Maybe a little bit more, huh? And the sides should maybe come out a smidgen, actually. Tiny bit more, I guess. Oh yeah, that's better, actually. And really, you can, like, if you later look at this from a different angle, you might think, ooh, this looks not so good. So just tweak until you're happy with it for now. Now if I go to the side view, so so that, again, for orientation purposes, this is gonna be the forehead, this is the chin, and this is like the top of the back of the head and the bottom of the back of the head. So, oops. This needs to be quite a bit more rounded out. So that's this. And here as well, of course. Here even more, I think. The back of the head is a bit more indented. I don't know, that sounds offensive, but I don't mean it like that. So the chin maybe can come... Oops. The chin can maybe come down a tiny bit more. Yeah, and those should maybe come up. Oh yeah, I think that's better. Oh yeah, I like this. That's a good basic shape, I think. Now, see, now that I look at it, I think this should come in a bit. Actually, let's actually just grab onto the frontal one. And the chin is definitely too pronounced here. That's much better. Nice. Now, the next thing I usually do is I work on the nose. And to do this, I always add an extra loop cut. And I put this relatively far down. And then one horizontal one as well. This will just make it easier for me to define the nose. So then I hold on onto this very middle vertex and I go into 3 so I see the side view, so I actually see what I'm doing. And press G and X because I want to move along the x-axis. Oops, X. Oh, G and Y, I'm sorry, G and Y. Now that looks like a nose. Great. Now what you can do is, like, if you say, okay, but this is like too wide of a nose for me, I don't like it, you can take this edge and bring it in a little bit if you want to. Maybe this one too, if I'm honest. Actually, this one should be more like this. Yeah, this looks better. I like it. So now we should bring out the brow bow a little bit. Slash the forehead. And we might be better off actually if we move this entire thing a bit down. So we press Alt and double click this to select the entire edge loop, and then press G twice to move it a little bit down. Right, and then I want to select these two and go to side view and bring them out along the y-axis just a tiny bit. And this one should go in a tiny bit on the y-axis. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So now that I look at this, I think the head is a bit too wide in X direction. So I'm gonna select all of it with A, and then I press S and X to scale it on the X-axis. That's a tiny bit better. Okay, nice. I like that. Now that I look at it, I also think that this is a bit too pronounced, so I'm moving this inwards. Actually, a bit more. And these as well. Yeah. That's more round looking. Great, that looks like a head. At least I think so. So the next thing I always do is I turn off the clipping and then I press Shift A to add a UV sphere, which will actually add two because we're mirroring. And then I press S to scale this down, and I use these for eyes. I don't know, I think it gives the character a kind of cutesy look, but feel free to actually model eyes if you want to. I just don't have any talent for that. So I move it along the y-axis to place it better, and then I go back to my frontal view and move it along the x-axis. And I see that I find a place where I'm happy with it about. Now this is way too far out, obviously, so this needs to go back into the head a bit. Now, if you want to see it properly, you should turn off the X-ray. That makes it a bit easier. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that looks cute. I mean, it's not super cute, obviously, yet, but it will be, at least relatively. So the next thing I like to do is I like to make eyebrows. So I leave the clipping off and I press Shift A to add a cylinder, and then again I move it out. And then now I want to rotate this 90 degrees, so I press R and then I type in 90 and click. And then I want to scale this down quite a bit. Don't be upset with yourself if you're not happy with the scaling yet, because you can always scale afterwards. Now I want to zoom in and move my field of view a bit so I see better what I'm doing. And I want to go to face selection and select this face. And then I press G and X to make this a tiny bit smaller. Now I press E to extrude. And I just go a little bit. And then I press R to rotate this because my eyebrow needs an angle. And I extrude here and oh, that was one too many. Here, and I press S to scale it a bit. And yeah. Now I want to, of course, scale these edges a bit. So I press S again this quite a bit smaller. Actually, that one needs to be smaller too. And here needs to be some changes. Actually, let's do that one first. Oops. Oh, I just deleted some vertices by accident. So Alt click to make this smaller. And this needs to be smaller too. Actually, that one might still be a bit too big, I think. Yeah, it's better. And then we're slowly scaling all of them until we are at least relatively happy with the result. I think this is a bit too thick, so let's do that. Oh yeah, ooh, that's better. Okay, now maybe the front of the eyebrow. Yeah. Maybe I'm not so happy with that angle, but I can still press Alt and select this entire edge loop, and then press R again to change the angle a bit. And I select this one and I press G to adjust. And this one as well, of course. Okay, I like this better. Might be a bit too thick. Okay, so then I hover over it and I press L to select all of it. And I'm gonna go to the side view so I can move it on the y-axis. And then I go back to frontal view and then I move it on the x-axis, of course. And back to the side view, maybe a bit more forward. And then also up. That's maybe too far up. Oh, actually it's kind of cute. Maybe a bit bigger. Oh, I like it. Okay, it needs to go back though, because it needs to be in the head. Huh. Maybe a bit more in. Just a tiny bit bigger. Yeah, I like that, I think. It's kind of cute. I like how it stands out. Actually, maybe I should mold it a bit more to the head. Let's get a better view of this. Okay, so let's grab this here. Actually, we should go to side view, I think. And of course, this one needs to come along with me. So, whoopala. And then, this is too little to see. G to move this as well, and of course this needs to move a bit as well. Yeah, that's better. Cute! There we go with eyebrows. Now, for a mouth, I kinda do the same thing. But I think I'm not gonna add a mouth. Am I? Yeah, actually I am. Okay, so we press Shift A again and we add a cylinder and we move this out and we press R and 90 to rotate it 90 degrees and then we scale it down, down, down. And then we zoom in so we actually see it. Okay. Now we do a similar thing for the mouth. So we press G to JX to move this along the x-axis. And now this needs to be bigger because that's the Cupid's bow. and then we extrude this, and we go smaller again. And a bit smaller. And then, oh, we pressed 3 by accident. And then we extrude this further. A bit smaller and further. And don't worry about the bottom edge, we're gonna fix that in a second. Okay. Now, hold on, I lost it. There we go. So now I want to change this. Whoop. This bottom edge a bit, because usually the bottom lips are more rounded. So, Jesus. I need to grab this from the side, like that. Okay, and I wanna select just some vertices, I think. I need to pull these down, definitely. So GZ. Yep. And then this should be more in the middle. Those need to be adjusted as well. I mean, honestly, the back doesn't really matter that much because it's gonna be in the face anyways. Okay, that's okay. And then what I usually like to do is I select an edge here, or maybe actually that one's better. Oder? Yeah. And I go into the side view and I move that one in quite a bit, so I have a distinguished gap between the two lips. So again, I mark this with L, so I select the entire thing and then go back to 1 and I move it in quite a bit. And I make sure I move my head back into view. And then now this needs, of course, to be moved quite a bit on the y-axis and also on the z-axis. Okay, and then we should bring it in on the x-axis. Now this is way too small. That's better. So let's zoom in on that, because we obviously need to place them together. And it's fine if they overlap a little bit. It's not like you're it's not like it matters so much for that. And then we can turn the clipping back on and we go to a side view and make sure they are selected first of all with L, and make sure they are placed inside. Maybe they should be a bit scaled down on the z-axis, I think. So SZ, just a smidgen. Yeah. They are a bit low, aren't they? Okay, they need to be up. Hoopala. L, G, Z. Oh, already better. Cool. Okay, so now we have a basic face, and like, remember, this is like a low poly thing, and like, you can always add more vertices and play around with it, make it a bit more to your liking. Maybe make the jawline a bit more feminine, like that. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing I usually do is I put some materials on and make sure they're actually displayed. You can do this up here, just because I think it makes it a bit nicer to see. So my first material is of course going to be skin. And we need a nice flesh tone. Then we need the eyes. And they're gonna be black. And I select these and I press design. Now, of course, we need some eyebrows. And I'm gonna select this and assign and make it a nice reddish brownish color. And we also need lips. Oops, I wasn't typing. These are the lips, and we don't want them white, we want them sort of a natural tone, she says, selecting a pink. I guess that's alright for now. Okay, so the last thing for the head that I always do is the hair. So I'm gonna add a material hair right now. Hair. And this is gonna be a nice gingerish color. Okay, and then I select a few faces with the face selection. Yeah, up to here. I could have used the box select, but I can also click all the faces. Okay, so great. Now I'm gonna assign my hair material to them. Don't worry, this is whoopala. Don't worry, this is not the final haircut or anything. Now we press E to extrude and let go of that, and then press Alt S to grow the hair out. That's attractive. Just a smidgen like that. Okay, so this is of course not a good hairstyle. I mean, I'm sure people can look good in this, but let's face it, she really doesn't. And I wouldn't either. So you select this bottom edge that we just created. And first of all, I always like to give it the hair material. And then I go to the frontal view and I press E to extrude this down. And maybe press that again so it doesn't go on the Z axis necessarily. And then you grow her some hair. Maybe add some cuts along the way. Okay, that's cute. Now I want to quickly make sure my hair material is assigned, because that makes it a lot easier to see what's hair and what's skin and stuff. Just make sure you don't see any skin. Actually, maybe I should make these hair material as well. I mean, honestly, you always need to ask yourself, am I gonna be able to see this ever? But I don't know. It bothers me, I'm seeing it right now. Okay, that's fine. So we assign the hair material. So now I don't like this area here, the front, that's not cute. I usually like to add some bangs of some sort. So I select these three and I go into side view and I extrude them out. And then I press G to move them, and maybe a little bit more, and G again to move them. And just a smidgen longer. Just make sure you don't hide the cute eyebrows. So put this back up, I think. Actually, let's get rid of the last one. And instead move this one a bit down. Cute! Also, I don't know, I think it's relatively cute. So of course, I think this is not that cute from the side yet, so we need to bring these out a tiny bit. Oh, actually, let me just, don't undo, so we don't have doubles. Okay, so let's just take those ones so we make our lives a little bit easier and extrude those a bit forward. And then we can go in vertex selection and we can combine things. If we press F, we're gonna fill this, and of course we need to fill this gap in here as well. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. F. Great. So now we of course need to give them the hair color still. Yeah, that's cute. I like it. Now you can of course like play with this a bit and maybe select these two and pull them down a bit. If you feel like that's cuter, maybe a bit in. Maybe rotate a bit. Yeah, you can mess around with it. Cool. So yeah, that is the head. You can of course play around a bit. Actually, let's maybe make the edge of the hair a bit more shaggy. So to do that, I add some loop cuts in here. Oops, no. Maybe two here. One here sounds good to me. Yeah, cute. Okay, so and then what I usually do if I want the edge more shaggy is I select some vertices, move it up. Then the next ones I'm gonna move a bit down. And of course, the more loop cuts you do with this, the more shaggy you can actually make it. But I think making it a little bit shaggy is kind of cute. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that makes it look more realistic, but I don't know. I think it looks cute. So I like to do that. Maybe more here and one more here. Now, of course, if you're concerned about vertex count, you add vertices with doing that, but I don't know, you shouldn't be too concerned. Yeah, cuter, isn't it? I don't know, I kind of like it. Looks less neat. And of course you can do things like add loop cuts in here and then maybe scale a bit down and the next one up so you can get a bit more of a wave to it. Yeah, but the possibilities are endless. You could also give her longer hair, but then you have to of course consider a little bit if that's gonna interfere with like the rest of the body and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how I do the head. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is extrude the neck. So I'm going back to face selection and look at my head from the bottom and I select D6 and I go to my frontal view and I press E to extrude, actually get rid of the anchoring a bit. Yeah, like so, that's good. Then what I usually like to do is I like to go back to vertex selection and just round this out like a tiny bit. So, maybe like that. Yeah, that's better. And then you can add a loop cut in here and maybe make that a bit smaller. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So we're going back to face selection and we select D6 and then go here and go to extrude. Get rid of this and there we have some shoulders. And of course we need to extrude this more downwards. So I go back to my frontal view and I go like here. So now what I need to do is I need to add a few loop cuts in here, which I can't properly because of this shape here. So I'm gonna delete these two actually. Oops, that was wrong. We want to delete the faces only. And then we add 3 loop cuts down here. Great. And now we add 2 loop cuts back in here, which are great because they allow us to shape her shoulders a bit. If we can, Jesus, if we can get her in shape. What am I doing? Ah, okay. Okay. So let's see here, maybe rotate this a tiny bit. And this one too actually, and a little bit up. That's better. Okay, so now of course we need to combine our edges back together. Oh, and we need another one here actually, because that looks too... Yeah. Oh, that's actually better. Okay, so this goes here. And those 4. Oops. Here. Oh, there's like a little issue there. Oops. Oh, I selected it wrong. Okay, and the same happens on the back, of course. This goes here, 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 and then those last ones go here. Great. So this looks a bit too boxy, of course, so we need to fiddle with this. So let me select those 2 and bring them out. And oopsie. Those as well. Oh wait, I accident edit. To come out. And so that's this, of course. The middle of the back also a bit. And those ones. Okay, that's a bit better. Now we want to select this edge. And this should be moved a bit out. And so does this actually. Yeah, that's much better. Now this needs to be shaped a bit nicer. Cool, that's better. Okay, so we can select these ones and extrude more body parts. Maybe we should go a bit down here. And a tiny bit smaller on this part too. Okay, so she's very thick, skinny from the side now. don't want that, of course, so whoop. This needs to be quite a bit bigger. The bottom needs to be fairly. So now here usually I like to use this tool a bit. So to get a little bit of a overall shape. Whoopsie. So of course this needs to come out a bit auf jeden Fall. So hold on, I don't want this tool anymore. G. Yeah. It's better. Okay. Not perfect, but better. Actually, those need to come in a little bit. Give her more shape. Okay, I think that's okay for now. No, it looks very bizarre. I kind of don't like when they look like that. I might actually add a loop cut in here, I think. Yep. And then I select those 6 for the arm, and I go here and I extrude my arm a little bit, and I make this a bit smaller and rotate it. I should rotate it a bit more and make it a bit smaller. And then I go back to the vertex selection and form this more round. Okay, that's okay like that for now. And we go back here and we, oh god, it looks terrible like that. Extrude our arms down and ooh, what have I done? I'm not sure what I just did. Okay, that's better. Of course you need to add some loop cuts in here because this is where we want our elbows and stuff. So we can use the scale tool to maybe scale this a bit up, actually. Yeah. Yep, that's better. Okay, and for hands, I always do the very simple mitten hand, if I'm honest. Gonna drag this out, extrude this a bit and scale this up in that direction, but maybe make it a bit slimmer in Y direction. So overall scale up, and I go back to this side and I make this and I hack it real small, and that one definitely needs to shrink down a bit. And this needs to be smaller. Maybe another loop cut in here. And then we need a thumb, which we're just gonna easily pull out from here, I think. Oh god, that's terrible. What happened to the thumb? I mean, I never said the thumb would be pretty. Yeah, I think that's okay. That's okay. Cool, so we have an upper body. It will of course look much prettier once you add some clothing on top of this, which I'm also going to show you how to do. So don't worry. But first of all, we need some legs now. So we select all of this. Oops, let's do box select actually. Chuk, chuk. Okay, and we make sure clipping is off now, because we want to split apart where our legs are. Oi, oi, oi. Oh, that's a tiny bit big, but that's okay. We're gonna round things out first anyways, so let's make sure this looks a bit better. Actually, let's get this one and move it a bit. Nice. Do the same with this one. Oopsie. Move it a tiny bit. Okay. G. G. So that looks terrible from the side just now. So to make sure this. Oh gee. Need to make sure this will be fine. Yeah, it's a bit. Better definitely, but needs to scale down quite a bit here. Is that correct? Yeah. So okay, that's much better. Great. So now I go back to my frontal view and we pull this down and make sure this is okay. How we want this. And more like this. And a tiny bit more for feet. Great. Now, her body overall needs a bit of a boost in thickness. I should maybe turn on X-ray for this. Okay, so now we want to scale this on the y-axis just a bit. Oh yeah, better. I like it. Let's go to the front view and let's just scale this in that X. Oh, we accidentally got her a little bit of back boobs. Okay, let's fix that quickly. So there's definitely the front ones also are a bit too excessive for my taste. Yep, that's much better. She is. Cool. So the next thing I always like to do is give her some shoes, and then we can maybe tweak some fine things and then add some clothing. Okay, let's do that. So we want to get in on our shoes slash feet. Actually, not. No, damn it. Okay, so I go to this view and I extrude this. Ta-da, feet. Let me scale it a bit down and move it. Yep, cool. So, clothing. Let's do that. Actually, let's just take a second and actually see, because I think I see a few things I want to improve on. Like, this is a bit too skimpy. It's better. That one needs to come down, I think. Better. Nice. Okay, I think I'm happy. Maybe actually... Yeah. Cool. Okay, so clothing. Clothing is pretty much the same thing as the hair we did. We're extruding it basically from the body. And we're doing that because that allows us that later on we won't have clipping, like skin coming through the clothing or something like that, which would happen if you'd have a second layer on top of the skin. Okay, let's start with pants. So, I want them to be a bit short, so they should end here. And then they end here, I think. Okay, so we box select all of these. Those. Oh, that might be... Actually, I think we should make them like this high. So let's see that we haven't missed anything. Cool. Okay, so we marked what we want as pants. I always like to give it the material first, so I call that jeans and assign it and make it a light blue. I always change it later anyways, so then I press E to extrude and let go again, and then Alt S, and then I can give her some awesome clown's pants if I want to. Yeah, like that looks good, I think, oder? Actually, maybe a tiny bit more. Yeah, like that. That's cute. Again, the seams are not the right material, so you need to go through and make sure you have the right material there. Excuse me. Okay. Jeez. I can't see. And this should be the last Nope. Yeah. And this has to be jeans. Great. Now, let's go with a shirt first. I actually think we're just gonna make it a t-shirt. So, let's select some. Oops. Actually, box select the stuff. No. Let's see a bit. So. Select those as well. Just turn it off so I have it easier selecting things. Oops. Okay, so now we need to decide how low down the armor t-shirt should go. It seems so long, doesn't it? Should I maybe add a loop cut? I feel like I should. Okay, so I have to redo this all. Took the wrong selection. This, not you, but you, and you, and this, not this. Hoopala. Okay, so set those last few ones that I'm missing. This. Okay, so we need our t-shirt material. So shirt, assign. Maybe we let it white for now. And then again E, let it go, and then Alt S. And there we go. But of course we need to assign proper material here still. Also make sure we don't see the edge at the belly, or we are actually seeing it quite a lot, so we need to make sure this edge is colored as well. Oh, good. I'm sure there's a simpler way to do this than clicking, but I don't know, it's not that much work if you ask me. Okay, cute. She looks a bit like her mom. So we need shoes. Oops. Ugh, I lost her again. By the way, if you work with Blender 2.8 and this happens to you a lot, you zoom in and suddenly your character is gone, let me know, because I'm not sure if this is a... I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a bug, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. Okay, so we select and again have the wrong mode. Okay, and the top of the foot. Okay, so I do E, let go, and then Alt S. Oh wow. And whoopsie. We need to, of course, color this shoe. They should be light pink, a sign. But the sole of the shoe should be a bit different. So we should select that. Okay. So first of all, I want the sole of the shoe a different color. Make it sole, a sign. White is actually good. Whoops. And again E and then Alt S to make it a bit thicker. Great. Now this edge should be white though, so let's make that white. Cute. So there's of course one thing missing here. And actually, now that I look at her, I also think her elbows are a bit high up. So I'm gonna shift this all a bit down. What was that? Look, that was double vertices there. Okay. So we also need one more above the knee. So I'm adding these in because we are going to animate her later, and otherwise it would look a bit weird. She has a bit of a boxy butt, I think. Maybe I should. But then again, I'm gonna add a modifier at the end, so maybe I shouldn't worry too much about that. But there's one more thing she needs. So she's like her mom. So Alt A, and we are gonna add a cube. And of course we need to turn off clipping, and then we move this to the side. I want to color this cube. Black. Great. So now, actually for working with it, I might be better off if I have it white for now. Yep. So I need this cube. And I need to add some cuts in it. And of course, yes. Let me actually move this a bit back so I select the right thing. Now, actually, let's go with this. Actually, I think I'm gonna do it how I had planned first. So, oh, this was off. We delete these vertices. Now we're gonna fill this back in quickly. Oopsie. Yuck, what have I done? Excuse me. Must have had something else selected. And back here, of course we need those here as well. Now we delete the faces from the middle. Oops, we left one behind. And of course this needs to be combined. I know this looks nothing like glasses right now, but trust me. I've did this before. Actually did. Okay. There. Okay. So of course they are way too big right now, but it doesn't matter that much. We want to turn X-ray off, select this one and extrude it a bit. And of course they need to connect in the middle. Great, so I'll color them black now, I think. Okay, so now I go to side view and I move them forwards and inwards, of course. And they look funny right now, but they're not done. So we need to size them. Make sure they're gonna It's kind of cute. So, of course, these are glasses and they don't just fly in the air. Oopsie. So, now I need to select those and move them a bit forward on the axis so I see better, and then I extrude this part back. Make it smaller. See, maybe it should come back a bit. Okay, so now select the whole thing. Just move it along. Let's see, this needs to... Are you okay? Yeah. So, just want this one. also want the edges a bit more round, I think. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Cute. So the last thing I always like to do is I go into object mode and I apply my modifier, and then I'm gonna add a subdivision surface which will make her more rounded, more cute looking. Now you might need to do some adjustments if you do that, like the nose kind of got lost. So we should do this now. T-shirt got a little bit cropped, but that's actually kind of cute, I think. Her butt's no longer a triangle. Her shoes look really cute. Okay, so let's go back into edit mode, and you still see the old shapes. So definitely the nose needs to be much more pronounced. With the modifier. So the glasses. Need to move forward a tiny bit. And they also maybe a bit more forward actually. Oh right, I just had one half of them, didn't I? Yeah, that makes sense. Let's undo what I just did. And select this as well. Oops. L, L. And now go to the side and move this a bit on the y-axis. Yeah, that's better. Let's add a loop cut. Turn those and make it a bit. And of course we want to move this a tiny bit back again though. Just a tiny bit. Also the mouth is a bit too out. I think I was happy with the rest, was I? I don't know, the nose is not quite. I actually need to add some loop cuts here. To make the nose a bit more. Oh, this is already much better. Cute. Okay, let's go into object mode and look. Oh, she's kind of cute. I don't know, I like her. Great. That's it.